Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Wyke in the building. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Yes.
What's happening? Any gist for us?
Loving the hair.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've decided to be showing my grey hair. And come to terms with old age.
So you are now 60.
I'm
like
60.
Officially.
There's no you are want to be doing like a young girl. There's no a young girl there. You are official.
Interestingly.
The youth of the elders.
Yeah, the youth of the others. Well, today also is Tunji Bello.
Yes.
Yes. He's 60.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So I'm older than him, in short.
A few months
older.
And I wanted to, I especially wanted to really, I'm going to probably put a post about him. But he's somebody that I must acknowledge that he's been a good man. He's a journalist, a professional. He's been in the system for a long time. And he's somebody who many feel that see as a father. And he's been a father to me in many ways, uncountable ways. He's been there for me. He has my back. And he lets me know he has my back. And I thank you, Mr. Tunji Bello. Thank you so much for being a father indeed. God bless you.
And my own special thank you.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. So, how are you doing,
That's
Topsy?
so good. I'm grateful to God. I'm good. I'm happy to be here on the show. It's a new month,
Yes.
and it's the second half of the year.
Have you crossed over to dinner?
I've crossed over. You know, this morning I was just thinking about it. Everybody, Happy New Month, all WhatsApp messages, everybody just saying Happy New Month. And I'm like, do we actually take time to take stock? Like, we are entering, we just flow into the next day. I've just been overthinking. So I just told myself, I'm not going to worry myself in planning strategy. Let me just relax. Because I usually get into this frenzy, like 3 days to the end of the month, checking accounts, checking how many sales did we make, did we hit any target, did we pass? This month, last month I did not check. I'm just entering the new month, just thanking God I'm alive. That's all.
But you know, I told you I'm doing a master's class, and I have classmates from all over the country, the Africa. And a woman in Zambia, one of my classmates, she lost 8 family members to COVID.
Oh my
from
goodness.
Zambia. Loved ones. She's distressed. She's also critically ill.
Wow.
So when you hear this kind of stories, you just first of all thank God for the fact that first of all I am alive. You, just before you start looking at stuff, money, you are still breathing. That one is enough, because I hear these stories in the group and I'm thinking, how are you holding up? Another one, her son is a doctor. He lost his life at the front lines.
Oh.
She's also taking this master's course, but her son is a doctor, young man, mid-20s, trying to be, you know, so things are happening, and we must be very grateful to God for that.
Yes.
Well, how are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. You know, now, at the beginning of every month, I must talk about my vultures and the environment. But this time around, I've been working on a children's book. I've been writing a children's book.
That is, she has finished. For her to tell us.
No, I'm not done yet. So
What?
it's a children's
You didn't
book.
know about it?
I know. I needed to get to this point now.
Damn.
So I'm working with an illustrator just to make it a very colorful book.
Yeah.
So once I'm done, we'll...
Oh, we're going to push this book, honey. We are telling the world.
Definitely
Obama's got to read this book. I'm saying.
You must make the list.
Yeah, so
Really, I'm excited because it should be you. That's you. Like it's just you.
Yeah, I've
And
been working on it for the most of the year, for 6 months. Yeah.
Please,
So
please.
Oh, wow.
we're almost coming to the end of
Mariam,
the book.
6 months.
Mariah, I'm not sure. You know, I felt like Mariah will tell us when the launch is like maybe a month's time. That's like when she's saying it, I know she's
It's my style because I find it like it will be disappointing when you say, I'm about to do something, and then it does not work. But this, where I'm at now, there's no going back. It's done, it's done.
Congratulations.
I don't talk.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
It's better not to. I just, if it fails, you feel bad for talking. So I really,
Congratulations.
I thought when I'm still thinking about the idea.
Let's go on a break. I'm pretty excited. And even BC has this radio show that is really amazing.
Yes.
I mentioned
She mentioned it.
Africa Business, something. It's like...
I wasn't on the show especially. I just stumbled on it on the broadcast. And I was listening. I'm like, oh my
You
goodness,
guys are
this is
stars,
good.
man.
Very interesting.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Really quite uncomfortable. Okay, we're going to start with the Punch. We're seeking explanation from federal government on Kanu's arrest, says Britain. Grieving mother knocks FCT school, alleges 14-year-old daughter died after defilement. This is in Punch. Secondus, others storm Senate over Onochie, threatens sacking defecting legislators. 3 policemen allegedly injured in Ganduje's convoy attack in Zamfara. Why we have not taken Super TV CEO's suspected killer to court, says police. Trial of 8 slain Unilorin students suspects stalled. 8 journalists killed, 300 violations recorded under Buhari, says report. Land borders reopening motion divides reps. And defaulting airlines passengers risk $3,500 fine. FG bans India others flights into the country. Okay, which story are we taking?
I would like to take the 14-year-old girl. Yes. Her school, I want to say her school, Premier Academy, Lugbe, Abuja. She called her mom frantically. Her mom should come and pick her quickly. When her mom got to the school said, no, there's no need, don't pick her. She's all right. And then the mother left, and then the girl uses the school phone and says, Mommy, where are you? Come and pick me. And the mother, but why are you all doing me that? He says, no, come. And then the house mother speaks to her and says, look, come and pick your daughter. And then she took her. She was very ill. By the time she said she took her home, she was okay. She was not very listless. And she ate, but the next day she had deteriorated, so she took her to the hospital. They found a condom inside her.
My God.
And the doctor said she had sepsis.
Yes.
And they couldn't save her.
Oh, my Lord. She died.
She died.
So the child is also diabetic.
And the child is diabetic.
Oh.
And the mother wants justice. She's gone to the police. The police say they've heard about it, but no act has been carried out against the school. The school say, they don't know. Then she now heard on the grapevine that 3 teachers had already been expelled for abusing children. You know, not expelled, sacked. So for me, I had to say this story because I think justice should be found for that child.
Okay, the school is saying that they do not want to say anything to the press or anyone because the police are investigating the case. So it's not like nothing is being done. So they're just waiting for the police to do a proper investigation of the case. Very sad story. I mean, that's why many parents are, worried about taking their children to boarding schools. You're not there to keep an eye and make sure that they are safe.
The condom was found inside her.
Can you imagine?
Anyway, really sad. Another story.
Yes, the convoy for the Kano State Governor, Dr. Ganduje, was attacked on Tuesday by gunmen. They said he was in another car. There was a convoy with the Jigawa State Governor's car, so he was in the governor's car. But his security operatives had a gun battle with the bandits, and 3 police officers were injured. And also, there's a lawmaker on his way to Kano was kidnapped. He was killed, and the son and driver kidnapped. Right. They said and then there are bandits who have laid siege on the Zamfara-Katsina Kano road near Shima on Tuesday. And for Ganduje, this is the second time an attack on his convoy is happening to him, once in 2017. This is a scary, we always say now. I mean, we used to say regular people, but now they are bold enough to attack governors' convoy with all the security operatives and all the oddlies that go with them there.
So who are we? We are mosquitoes.
Hey,
we are ants. Governor.
We are ants.
Let me take this major headline. You have that story?
No. I want to take the story of the journalists.
Go ahead.
About 8 journalists have been killed within this administration, according to the Punch report. The 2021 Press Freedom Report, released on Wednesday, listed 8 journalists have been killed under President Buhari's administration, and 300 recorded violations against journalists. They listed about 4 that were killed. Specifically, the Anambra Broadcasting Services cameraman, the Nigerian Television Authority in Edo State, a desk editor, in Bayelsa State, famous a freelance broadcaster in Ekiti State, all of them killed around the same time. No proper investigation, no person found guilty. And then we can't forget the case of the killing that happened to Precious Owolabi in 2019. Precious Owolabi works with Channels Television and was reporting the protest by Islamic Movement of Nigeria. All of these 8 journalists killed. No investigation finding out who killed them is very, very wrong. We need to support the fourth realm of government and ensure that even if they are found, if anybody dies, there must be investigation and there must be prosecution.
Okay, let's move on quickly now to The Nation. Security probes Kanu to uncover IPOB financiers. Economy at half year. Investors lose 1.2 trillion naira, depreciates by 8%. Bandits kill lawmaker, attack Ganduja's convoy. ACF governors not tackling unemployment. And Buhari settles 100 billion naira retirees' pension liabilities. Let me take the major headline because it's also linked to major headline in quite a few stories. So the British government have said that they will provide consular assistance to Nnamdi Kanu as a UK citizen, and they're also asking the federal government to disclose how he was arrested. They're also asking that the federal government ensure that due process is followed and things go the right way. And his brother, I think it's Kingsley Kanu, had also disclosed that he was abducted, not arrested, in Kenya, and that the UK government must demand that they should release him because he was abducted illegally, wrongly, and extradited to Nigeria. And related to the nation's headline saying that the government will be looking through his phone book, his phone records, call logs, social media, bank, and all his bank accounts to understand who his financiers are and see if they can get a link to understand the web. And they're hoping that this reduce the financing of the violence that have been happening in the Southeast recently. So,
I just hope that the same energy that they are pushing here, they should use for the bandits and Boko Haram.
Yeah.
They should just use the same energy. So that we know that it is.
Nation as well.
Because people...
It's equity.
Yes. Yeah, because Boko Haram have been flying about for years. And
Shekara was killed by foreigners, not even us.
No, by co-bandits.
By co-bandits.
Sorry, not the foreigners, co-bandits.
Yes.
I love that.
So, yes, the Ariwa Consultative Forum has berated its governors, the 19 northern governors, for the rising unemployment in the north. It's saying that it's as if these governors do not understand the time bomb that's about to explode in their faces. That the unemployment gap is just too much and is leading to so many other things, apart from drug abuse, substance abuse, also banditry, kidnapping, and all the other crimes. That the northern governors need to sit down and figure out a way to make sure that there are jobs available, that no human being wants to just rely on palliatives. People want to earn a living, have a means of livelihood, and that's what the governors should sit and you know, put their heads together and provide. And I guess, you know, in response to what you were saying, that you hope is the same energy, it has to start from that, that the governors understand they're not just there as ceremonial heads. There's a work to be done.
So that Sanusi was saying that for many years.
Yeah. For many years.
He was saying it for many years, but people were then they turned deaf ears to what he was saying. That listen, we need to educate our people and stop turning every available land to a mosque. I think he was saying at the time. Let's go on.
When Jonathan was president, he was building
all the Ahmadi schools are shut down.
Now they're shut down. And you see, there was a reason for that because education is key. 100%.
Yes.
You know.
Let's go on the break, Waike. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Dr. had a paper.
Yes.
Which story?
The economic story. Nigeria investors have lost 1.2 trillion naira within the course of the first half of this year. And the statement is that Nigeria is going through hyperinflation compounded by currency depreciation. The hyperinflation, everybody is feeling it. Currency depreciation and the effect on the confidence of investors within the stocks. The stock markets has been crashing consistently. 8% loss has been recorded. The question is, what is the government doing to change the circumstances? The complaints also included the fact that confidence level in the stock market has really, really dropped. And we're waiting for what the CBN as well as other people in charge of our economy would be saying concerning how they want to improve it.
Moving on now to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. 71-year-old woman is oldest PhD graduate at Unilag.
Wow.
Bandits killed Zamfara lawmaker, kidnapped son and driver. Court remands 2 herdsmen for allegedly kidnapping Ekiti traditional ruler. Boko Haram, ISWAP terrorist group recruiting via social media, says NSA. Euro 2020, Europe records increase in COVID-19 cases from returning fans. Oyetola inaugurates 42,000 hunters to tackle insecurity in Onoshun. Zenith Bank retains position as #1 tier bank in Nigeria. Nigeria's problem is not Nigerians, Nigeria's problem is Nigerians, not ethnicity or religion. 4 senators dump PDP and join APC. Okay, let's find a story we've not taken.
Well, I have the National Security Advisor, Major General Monguno, at a meeting, a high-level United Nations conference of heads of counterterrorism agencies. So he was saying that Boko Haram and ISWAP are recruiting and radicalizing vulnerable Nigerians through social media, and that the terrorism is taking a very vicious and relentless face, and it's a global threat, and that it should be looked at as terrorism should be looked at as something that affects global peace and security. So let's not just look at it as a community or a particular country that's affected by it, but it affects us globally. And he says that unless we look at it that way, we'll still be fighting Boko Haram. And he also says that the Nigerian government has done a few things in order to fight this. He says the government has created the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. He says the National Commission of the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons and the National Commission for Coordination of Cybersecurity, and also the Financial Intelligence Unit. So that will trace money is being spent in the propagation of terrorism within our country. So we need to look at it as a global threat against our peace and security.
Let me quickly take the story. Court remands 2 headsmen allegedly guilty of masterminding the kidnap of the Obadu of Ilemesho Ekiti. That's Oba David Oyewumi. This attack took place April 15th. These 2 men, one's age is 50, the other his age is 35. The 2 of them have been arrested. They've been remanded at the Ado Ekiti Correctional Facility, pending where the case will be heard. The trial is going to be July 14, and they'll be tried under the Ekiti State law for kidnapping and terrorism prohibition. The hope is that the 2 of them, they suspected that the 2 of them masterminded it. About 6 people came into the Oba's palace, shot into the air, and kidnapped the man. The ransom was paid. He was released. It was upon investigation that the 2 of them were found to be alleged yet complicit in the matter.
Okay, so our president, while receiving the Muhammadu Buhari Osinbajo MBO Dynamic Support Group, was saying that our problems are Nigerians, not ethnicity or religion. And he now took them on a journey of when he was trying to get into presidency 3 times, where 2003, 2007, and 2011, and the fact that when his cases spent 30 months in court, and his lead counsel at the time was an Igbo man. One of the judges who dismissed his case was from his area, was Fulani. We're just trying to make the connection that, listen, ethnicity has never been our problem, no religion. That it's just we people have to find a way to work together. Instead, I hope historians and intellectuals would document this, because it's a fantastic state of political development. Let our grandchildren and great-grandchildren see how we came along and tell our stories the way so that they can appreciate us as a nation and not focus on our ethnic differences. And I would say the
same thing that I said to you when you said this before the show, that I have a problem with that. The problem I have with that is if you can identify specifically, oh, my lead counsel was this, then I have a problem. Because you shouldn't even be able to identify. There should be so many that you just say, look, I work with Yoruba people and Igbo people. Go and check my records. Not be identifying one case. No.
Good news
There's
from
a problem.
YK,
No.
building.
I'm serious.
Okay, I get
good
your
news
point,
from
YK.
for people that are in
Governor Oyetola?
Oyetola.
Yes.
So good news for them because the governor Oyetola has inaugurated 42,000. That's a huge number of hunters to protect the people of his state. The governor said security and welfare is a primary purpose of government, and his administration will leave no stone unturned to achieve this important assignment. So now, these 42,000 hunters will be working with the existing security apparatus to complement the effort and reduce the cases of crime
and
within the state.
in a related story, he has also received an award, of excellence from the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and he has actually was celebrated for his hard work as a leader of the state. Okay, we don't have much time, but let me quickly rush to Vanguard very quickly. Our position on Nnamdi Kanu says British government. Hold northern governors responsible for insecurity, says Arewa Forum. Let's rise to defend democracy. Governors tell Nigerians. Let's find a story of not taking Yoruba Nation. Lagos rally will be peaceful, Sunday Igboho assures. And we have problems of Nigeria, not religion. Okay, we talked about it already. Any story?
Yes, Sunday Igboho, speaking at Ibadan concerning the proposed Yoruba Nation rally in Lagos, says that it's going to be a peaceful protest. He also mentioned the fact that he does not have the power to fight the federal government and that he lacks the power to fight the federal government and political leaders. He said that in a viral video, specifically concerning the fact that this protest that will take place in Lagos will be a peaceful one, that the battle for Nigeria is a battle that belongs to the Lord. And God, who is the head of all battle, will fight for us. And our generation will be emancipated, and Yoruba race will be free from slavery.
Yeah. All the protests so far, we've not really seen any violence. So it's a constitutional right to peaceful protest. Okay, let's very quickly, the picture story, Loretta Onoche. Nobody took Loretta's story. Auntie Loretta.
We left it for you.
Oh, really?
So what is happening?
So
they are holding her
the national leadership, PDP secondus, led his team to object the nomination of the special advisor, special assistant to the president on new media, Loretta Onoche, as commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission. And he was there, and quite a number of other lawmakers were there. They all approached the House, the National Assembly yesterday, and I'm trying to see if I can get a quote.
Are these the lawmakers holding up the placard?
Yes, so they got people also, party members, PDP members.
Party members,
yes.
okay.
And their position was that the rejection of the nomination of Loretta as INEC commissioner, which was signed by the National Security Senator Umaru Sauri, and addressed to the chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC. So they are joining voices.
I think they're well within their rights. I think they must say, because it is...
Personally, I'm uncomfortable with that appointment, and I voiced that several times on the show. It's
supposed to be a card-carrying member that you will
make a chairman
employ. It's supposed
no matter how independent the INEC
supposed to be above board. And they're supposed to be, this is the government of, they say transparency, they say integrity, they say they are challenging
corruption and all that.
What the PDP did the last time. Now you are now employing a card-carrying member of your party. No, come on.
If they can do this, that would be so brazen. Like, it's like telling your face,
there's nothing you can do. And everybody else, people are actually complaining.
It would be so brazen, and it can actually lead the new chapter of, okay, do we have a democracy or not? What are we doing? Are we dictatorial? Are we authoritarian? Or let us decide. Because this is so brazen.
This is where the Senate have to act independently.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have
this
tried.
Is not the time to work in
they have sent it back to the president.
But they keep returning the name.
They keep returning it. If they've tried, they've done their part. They keep sending it to the presidency, the man will send it back. They'll send it to him, they'll send it back again. So what will they do?
They'll keep sending it back.
We'll keep sending it back. On that note, we go on a break. When we come back, it's Thursday. Remember, we're gisting all the way. When we come back, lots of hot topics. We have not finished this matter of Sai Chiku. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Studies have shown that a lot of men, a lot of successful men actually, have side chicks. Why is this so? Marriage as we know it is supposed to be one man and one woman. But their pairs, the trend has changed. In fact, it has become normal to see that a successful man has a side chick.
Several.
In fact, the side chicks are now so brazen and so confident. Like, yes, I'm there. What? Join us on the show to analyze it. If there's any psychological justification for cheating, the effects of living with a promiscuous partner, and how best these kinds of situations can be handled mentally, is our very friend of the house, the Nigerian mental health advocate, psychiatrist, and psychotherapist, Maimuna Yusuf Kadiri. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, ladies.
It's always good to have you. How is everything?
Oh, fine. We're cooking one day at a time.
Yeah, we love your jacket anyway.
Thank you.
Now, you see, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, we were talking about this side chick matter has come to front burner. And it's causing a lot of people to have a conversation. Let us discuss this matter. Let us even analyze it. They are there. Fact.
Yeah.
You as the wife, should we be like our mothers, accept, just as long as you're protecting yourself, don't come and, or should we begin to say, listen,
Question it.
Should we question it? Should we challenge it? Should we, what do we do to prevent it from happening? How do we fix it? What's the new normal concerning this marriage matter?
Wow, new normal for side chick. Or normalizing the conversation for side chick.
We have to have this conversation because it's a reality.
It's a reality, it's a fact, and should married women not just fold their hands and just watch what is happening? Or we should have our own conference on side chick and say,
association of...
and then talk about this thing, because truly, we were girls before being wives. We were single before we became married.
Yeah.
And as married women in these homes, we are also having girls. So is this going to be a vicious circle? Is this going to be a generational issue? And it's not only domiciled in Nigeria, it's a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's now for us to say, look, this thing is costing so much, not only to our sidekick, but also showcasing the ills of the society, and our children are seeing, and some people, they've taken it as a retirement benefit. Yes, some girls have seen it as a retirement where side chick is my benefit. I'm going to have a baby for this person who we fund, who we fund XYZ. I don't need to marry. Marry is even stress, and my freedom will be limited. So it's a conversation we should truly have, and that conversation should not just be the married men. It has to be, community. It has to be sitting down and saying, what can we do differently? How can we do these things differently? Who should be, who should be the ones that would be the stakeholders?
Yes. Okay, let me let Jumara jump in here for a second.
Many Nigerians will be listening to you and be like, this is Nigeria. Men traditionally have wives and concubines. I mean, it's the introduction of Westernization that is calling them side chicks. This is normal. Why are Nigerian women pretending that this is new?
No, ours is polygamy. Go for it legally. Nobody is holding. See, so Muslims are known to have 4 wives, right? But even the Quran will say if you can love them equally, but they decide to ignore that side, right? Okay. And still do the greed and marry the 4 wives and all that. But the traditional African Nigerian man is polygamous in nature. Just go and do the legal thing rather than having side chick here, dying prematurely, dying disgracefully, embarrassing the whole family. Because when you are dead, you don't know what is happening. So it has to be.
Okay, so you're saying we can marry the side chick?
They should marry and let it be.
So that's the solution. Okay, so the solution. Doctor has given us one solution. If you're a wife, accept that your husband can marry the side.
Marry many women.
Marry women.
Are you accepting
No. One man, one wife.
No. Yes. I cannot accept a legal structure of having a side chick or having a second wife. We did not agree to it before marriage. We cannot agree to it in between. You cannot change the rules of the game inside the game. Full stop. Now, But you see, my concern is I have engaged in conversations with many married women. And there's a fear that if my husband blow, am I going to enter? You know when we're managing, everybody, there's love. When there's trouble, everybody is together.
Nobody's seeing you
so
right now.
the fear is when women legitimately don't want their husband to blow, because of the fear of you will become everybody's husband. You become everybody, you'll be everywhere. And how do we have that tough conversation? Because it is true that when a man becomes successful, they will have more late-night meetings. They will travel more.
All
and those trips are not alone. Then babes will throw themselves at... and all the special portions and special packages will be arranged. So is it that it is better, whenever a woman already is married to a financially comfortable man, she should just hands off and say that I'll enjoy the money and be okay with everybody else sharing him?
Is that another solution?
Is that another solution? Is that another way to...
Truly, when you look at these things and you understand the specific vulnerability risk factors that are attached to risk factors that are attached to being married and as a woman, you will know there are some battles you should pick. Not all battles belong to you. What are these specific vulnerability risk factors? For every married woman out there, there are 4 of them. And these researches have been ongoing since in the 70s, even till date. It's still same thing. The first is if you have death or one or both of your parents before you turn 8 years old, obviously somebody is going to bring you up as a young girl before you became a woman. Then if you have 3 children or more that are ages 14 and below, I'm sure if you've traveled with your children alone without your husband, it's stress, it's not holiday. The third one is if you are not working at all, so you are not working in the office, you are just within the home environment. The last but not the least is if your husband is not your friend or your confidant. If you already have 2 out of these 4 vulnerability risk factors, you are at higher risk of having depression. So as a married Nigerian woman, if you know these vulnerability risk factors, pick your battles.
Hey, let us take that in for a second. So those 4 things, you have 2.
I don't have 3 children. So
Okay,
your
both parents are alive.
No.
Okay,
you
did they
don't
die
have-
before 8 years of age?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one. The third one, you are working, so that's not
Okay.
The 4th one, your
And you're very good
husband
friends
is your
with
friend.
him.
Yeah.
Good. So one person within your control, you have one. Just ensure you don't have the second one. So you can make sure you don't have, like for me, I have 1. I have 3 children, right?
Okay.
Those 2 are both 14, but 1, I'm working, I have both parents. So one that may be an issue is my husband being my friend. So Mr. Kadri is my friend. Any quarrel we have, 11:59 p.m. before 12 the following day, we must settle it.
Okay. Now, let me throw another angle here. YK, you've not spoken. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Because there is another school of thought that says, listen, in this life, why do we get married? Some will say children, have a family, and have that structure. Now, when you finally have children, they are grown up to 21. In fact, some of them are now 13 and they are okay, they're in university. If the man wants to say, okay, now we've born the children, we've stopped, all our finances have supported the children, we've done the mommy, daddy, husband, love with them. Now, let us go and find ourselves. Daddy, go, mommy, go. Onika, look, go and find your happiness.
That's
another school of thought. Okay, maybe it is time for side chick. Once we have done what we did, need cook. You sorted out the issue with the family. Is that the best time for a man to say, okay, it's time for me to have a side chick. Let me go and find a young girl that will make me happy, that can flip over, flip down, and everything. And mommy too, go and find somebody that will go and sort you out.
No, I think you're wrong. I think the older a man gets, the less he wants of a side chick.
Are you sure?
It's when he's in his youth and everything is standing up and down and that at least
that one doesn't sound
you see,
right.
me, I don't. You see, I've been very quiet because my father had 27 wives.
I mean,
And my mother did not listen. My mother did not divorce him. She stayed with him, and today I am reaping the benefits
of her staying.
Wisdom.
Yeah. No. Perspective.
Wait.
No wisdom. Perspective.
I'm just telling you my own.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I grew up in a home where polygamy was accepted.
Yes.
I grew up in a home. I'm not saying that my mother didn't suffer for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying my mother didn't have depression, depressive moments. She did. But I'm saying a sacrifice she made. Today, I don't have any. I am enjoying the
yeah. But let me build on what YK is saying, Dr. Maimuna, because it brings us back to the story of should we therefore endure this side chick season? Because after a while,
it is not a season.
Okay, might be a season. Because listen, after a while they fall sick. I'll let you.
Side chick, you are doing it as if side chick just started last week. Last month. Side chick has been there since before you were born. Since before you were born, it has been with us.
Okay, when I said season,
because at this point, wait, let me talk. At this point, we are trying to remember this marriage was brought to us by Oyinbo. Going to church is Oyinbo tradition. It's not our own tradition.
Okay.
Our own tradition is different. Yeah. We don't even know our own tradition because as I'm sitting, I don't even know my tradition.
Okay.
Coming from YK, that's
let me clarify. When I said season, for every man, there's a season that you can do side chick. There'll be a season where either the thing doesn't work again or money has come down.
That's the season that you are talking about that after you have waited to all the children are in school and everything. By that time, sickness has come. Everything is not standing up. Everything is not sitting down. You are just listen. I'm just saying that season that you are saying that you should wait for is when everything has gone to the dogs.
Okay. In some cases, but that season, some people say, well, again, some people get that season at 50. Yeah. Some people get last season at 50, and that's where they have money. That's where they build the house. Wife is okay. She has a jeep. She's okay. They have money to spend. That's when they start having side chicks and the 21-year-old side chick. No. You are talking about when they're 80, when they fall sick. Yeah. When they start, when the whole thing has, the equipment has weakened.
YK is saying that they start earlier than this 50 you're talking about. Yeah. When you're in the thick of things, when you're having babies and everything, he is in his prime and he's balling, and that's when he's also having side chicks. So they don't wait till they are 50 to have side chicks. Sometimes even that's when it starts declining.
Exactly. That's
because
what I'm saying.
the energy to keep both inside and outside may not be there, but when they are younger, it can keep you and keep 3 more outside.
But I was trying to get somewhere. I don't know if anybody understood that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So it is, should we wait and take the process while they are doing their philandering everywhere? So, and then hoping that over time, when they come back home, you'll be the one they come back to meet. But I want to ask Dr. Maimuna that what's the psychological effect on a woman who knows that, who is having to wait until he's done? And then, like, you're hoping he will come back to me, and I'll be the one. When we've heard stories where he did not come back to you, he decided to tell you that stay in your own house. Yeah. He moves into the home with another person. What if that happens? How should a woman prepare when she's in that thick of thing of she knows? I know many women that know because their husband are not hiding it. And for me to know, that means the woman to knows. You know your husband is doing these things. Should you sit down there and be waiting that maybe when he hits like 50 or 60, he will come back home?
Or may never come back. That's just the truth. It may never come back. Truly, life is to be enjoyed, not endured, right? And that is why when we talk about women empowerment, it's not just about women have money. It's about women having the right mindset, women, doing the things that they enjoy, engage in activities that they can also prosper. So for women that are in this position, whether you know, knowingly, directly, indirectly, it's in your face, it's not for, there are certain things that you are not even in control of. But you have 2 options, stay or leave. And if you decide to stay, then you now have to build a support system that will keep you there and give you reasons for staying. And one mistake a lot of women will make is that, because of my children. And these children will grow up and they will say, why did you stay? Because of us. Before those children even grow up to that level, what if you're already vulnerable and you are depressed? Because if you are depressed, there's no way you can ever take care of yourself and take care of these children. So these are certain things that we have to look at as it is right now. The options are always there.
Let me go on a quick break. We'll come back. The options are always there. I like that. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about how do we understand this new season, not new, this season of side chick, because according to YK, it's been there forever. We know it's there. But it's managing it now that is a problem, because, I mean, you wrote a book on depression, which we'll talk about in a moment, but a woman, a wife is thinking, I don't want this man to come back home when he's sick, has cancer, prostate cancer or something, where I'm now having to take care of him. And me, I'm healthy. After he has philandered all over the world, London, China, Spain, everything, he now comes home and says, take me back. Your conscience, you don't want to take him back because you want to leave. You also want to. So the woman in that situation, she's depressed because society says, take him back.
Yeah.
He has come home.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to take him back.
Yeah.
I want to move.
Yeah.
As a doctor, what would you advise her to do?
She does what is within her control, what will make her happy. Let's not box people into, a corner where she will rebel. Because over the years, she has built up anger, resentment, bitterness. So there's so much negative emotions that are going on in that. And the thing is that some of these men don't even know. It's easy to kill somebody, to kill that man. You go around, you come back home and eat that woman's food. Do you know what the woman has done? And it's not that they will put the kind of poison that you will die immediately. It can be gradual. People are now going on Google to check on 1,000 ways to die and so many other things. So the thing is that at that point in time, what would the woman do? As a therapist, I'm not to take anybody's side.
Yes.
Mine is to guide you, protect, put all the options on the table, and then you pick the one that will work best for you. Yeah. So if you think that, leaving the marriage is your best option, reasons valid and supported, that is it. If you think staying, no matter what, society, this is what they want, and you are okay with it, be okay with it, but find ways to adapt and, deal with your psychological issues.
Let me take this call, then I'll come to you, Miriam. Adeyinka, are you there? Thanks for calling. Hello, Adeyinka. Oh, I think we lost that call. Go ahead, Miriam.
I want to ask a question for the woman who says, I would rather stay in the house. I've worked too hard, I've sacrificed too much, just let it go for some small girl outside to enjoy it. Is there a way to normalize the conversation of accepting a side chick and still living in the marriage without being depressed?
There are ways. So you will now find what are your coping mechanisms? What are your coping skills? What can you look out for that can support you being there without, being down with any depressive episode or anxiety or anything, or even drug addiction? Because in the process of staying there and you are depressed, you find way to medicate, and before you know what's happening, it can lead to an addiction. So what are the things you can do? Do you find joy in some hobbies? Can you engage in church activities, mosque activities, NGO work? You have to just find what will work for you. That's the only way.
When I used to do makeup, I have some customers that they have parties Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They were really they funded my early makeup career, but I knew what
there
the
was
problem
something
was.
wrong.
Yeah. It was a case of since Oga is not around, every Ashwebi, if you see them decked out, like they spend the man's money, they go to parties, they will party back
Show
to
up
back.
well.
That's their way of coping with the fact that my husband is never around.
I'll come to you after this call. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Hello, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, actually, I was actually listening to the program, my first time caller. And I think the program is about mental condition, mental implications of cheating in marriages.
Go ahead, we're trying to hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He's listening to TV. We have to turn down. We have to disconnect that call.
So,
Mikey, you're going to say something.
No, I was going to ask, because there's the opposite of side chick. Women have side cockerels. So what do we do with those ones? What do the men do? Because, it's always it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah.
Let us not say it's always the men.
Yeah,
Exactly.
true.
Some women, too, have their own,
that's their voice.
their own side shows.
Would that be a coping mechanism?
For the men, right?
Wait,
For the woman.
For the woman.
Your
Husband
How was your
having
excuse? Women do have.
Yes, women do have. So it's not only the side chicks that the men
But how does the man cope when you know your wife is
they say we're in a patriarchal society. So men are always seen as being a man up. So for the men to even discuss that my wife is doing X, Y, Z, they are always going to look at him as if he's so weak, he's not financially capable. So his friends will not even want to hear, or his family members, like, how can you be there and your wife is cheating on you? Do the needful. Drive her away, marry another new wife, all that. But men too get depressed.
I've heard a serious
men,
story.
and men, and
Real life, the man went into depression. And he was begging.
Exactly.
Like he was begging his...
So it happened.
He's begging his wife's family to help him beg his wife. To be faithful. As in, it's really, really sad.
I want to say this out here. If 10 people are sitting outside my consulting room, and 9 are women, and 1 is a man, I'll come out and plead with the women for me to see the man first before the women. Right. Because in our society, before a man will accept that he or she is going through a mental health related issue or psychologically down, most times it's always on the severe spectrum. They don't come at those early phases. So by the time they come, they're either depressed, they've attempted it, or they are already maybe meditating, suicide, on addiction. So it is, in our society, this man up. You are a man. Don't talk about... No, we have to all change that narrative.
Okay, let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Hello?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Let me say this first, that truly change is constant. Anyone can change anytime. But I want to suggest that 80% of those who are having psyche now, they have been doing that even before the man. They are into that. So their wife then may endure just because of love or whatever reason best known to them, just to have the man there. So when the marriage starts now, whatever the man is now doing, then that is the true color of what they are covering there. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to say, you see, when there is no money, women seem to sober. Women seem to sober. They will concur with you. They will respect. They will just come down. But immediately the man boom and the money comes, the women seem to have that arrogance that I am there now. So all kind of frustrations will start coming. Right. Before.
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you properly, but let me ask this question to you, doctor. Is there a way a man can respectfully have a side chick? Let me explain. Because I know a man who says, Maria, I cheat on my wife, but I do it. I don't put it in her face. My wife lives in Canada. I mean, when I'm home in Canada, I'm 100% with her, with the children. I pay the bills. When I come to Nigeria, when I go to the UK, US, I have my girls over there who I call and they are there and we do their thing. And I clean it up nicely. It's neat. Me and my wife cannot look at my phone and say anything. You know, it's very neat. There's a way we do it. So in that way, because he has respect for his wife and he cherishes what they have together. So he's doing it in a way that would not make her... So his wife knows that...
Decently.
He's been decent about it. Would we say that that's acceptable? Can we as women reconcile ourselves with that, okay, our men, they are doing it in Japan, in Taiwan, not near me. Is that respectfully done?
Respect begets respect. You're doing it and saying you are respecting her. Are you respecting yourself? Because the truth is, there's nothing like I'm doing it neatly, cleanly, whatever adjective they want to use to qualify that. Cheating is cheating. It has no... It is, you are cheating.
What you don't know won't hurt you.
And the thing is that it thinks she doesn't know. You will be surprised that she knows, but she has just decided, look, it's not affecting me, so I will take it that way. So the thing is that there are always options. So if any woman decides to stay in a home where there's cheating, what are your options? Why did you decide to stay? Why didn't you leave? So we are not yet promoting women should start leaving their husbands. No, we are here that if you are in that house, find coping skills, find ways you can manage that situation where you wouldn't get depressed. Because if there are children in that home, there's definitely no way you can nurture them well. Women are natural nurturers. So if you start building up anger, resentment, bitterness, you will nurture your children with all those things. Right. And they will think it is normal. But by the time they go into the outer society, the society is telling them these things are not okay. So nature versus nurture.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Take some more calls. YK, you have any tips ready for us?
Many tips.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be...
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this side chicks matter, and we're trying to understand if there's a way a wife can just accept or live with this system. I mean, I'm going to come to your book in a moment. But YK, you were talking about during the break about how you're comfortable with this.
I was comfortable. My ex-husband, he had side chicks, and I knew about it, and I didn't stress him. He used to gist me. There was this one, but there was this particular one. Him and his friend that used to go philandering together. That one wasn't married. They liked the same girl. So on the way back from the girl's house, where he was chasing the girl, they now fought. The two men fought.
The ex-husband. Well, married to you.
He was married to me.
What kind of marriage you guys have?
He told me the gist now. But when he came home, there was blood all over him. So I said, what happened? Did you go and disvirgin somebody? Why are you?
How would you?
So I was looking at me strangely. I said, what happened now? He said, it is this girl that two of them were chasing. They now fought. Till they got to Maryland. The police now stopped them. Two men like big men like you fighting. Will you stop that? Police started chastising them. I laughed so much.
Let me be sure that I understand what you're saying. Unless you're speaking French. Your own husband.
Who gist you that kind of
Who gist you that she was with. Why were you okay with that?
Well, remember, my own background is different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's part of your DNA. It's
no
big deal. All of us.
You know, so, I mean, I prefer, for me, if my man is going to cheat on me, I prefer you to tell me than for me to go and find out outside.
Don't tell me.
Because if I find out outside, we will scatter ourselves.
Let's scatter it though.
It goes back to what I asked you. See, two of you are you're not in sync. You don't want to, you want to know. I'm telling you that you must say,
I don't want to know.
I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
You people don't want to know. Me, I want to know. So that if we are going to fight, let's know why we are fighting.
I don't want to know.
Not that you tell me, excuse me, not that you tell me, why are you dressed like this today? Why am I dressed like this today? I was just like this yesterday, you didn't complain. Now, because side chick is... So I'm now starting to calculate inside my brain. Is there a babe outside? But if I know...
There's a babe. Let me ask you this
then
question.
I know who my enemies are.
Let me ask you this question. So when you're with your man, who is your husband, and that you know has a side chick, and while he's with you, he's intimate.
How are you?
And you're intimate.
How do
you give yourself 100%? When you know this same brother is with other husband.
I want to show him that one that he's doing is nothing.
I'll become free.
A different generation.
He made. See, that one that is giving you is nothing like what I'm going to give you. Let me give you correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? Cut us just YK.
From this conversation.
You're not in the real world. Let's just put you. Let me come back to our guest. Because you have a book on depression. Yes. And it's important we talk about that because how can we, women who are going through depression, help themselves? I mean, many people can't afford people like you. Yes, I can't talk this, like I don't have the money. But can this book help them to find some kind of help?
So it's about changing the narratives and normalizing mental health conversation where people can get help. So there are self-help tips there. Because the first rule, if you are going through any emotional issues, is to find ways to help yourself. Not necessarily start looking at Google or looking for friends. What are those things you are doing? So first thing you wake up in the morning, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? Know what you are feeling. Am I angry? Am I overwhelmed? Am I struggling? Am I stressed? So how am I feeling? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Is it the Lagos traffic? Is it my husband's child chick? Is it whatever? So you have to, and then how can I get out of this situation? So those 4 questions are very key. They are very important. It's something that every day ask yourself. It helps you to start looking, because they say, people say, get motivated. No, 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 no. Motivation without discipline, perseverance, and consistency is not motivation. You must be able to help yourself get out of that. And if you can nip in the bud what you are feeling and why you are feeling that way, it's easier to start looking at options for treatment or for management. So if it's Lagos traffic and you know you have to move from island to the mainland, your appointment is 9 a.m. on your view, leave home by 6 o'clock. Get here maybe 7:30, you are in your car even sleeping. Set alarm for 8:45 where you can easily wake up, touch up, and then come into the studio, do whatever you want to do and move. So you must help your own ministry, help your own self. Not necessarily looking for, oh, there's one. We have one psychiatrist for 1 million Nigerians. So we don't have people like this. We don't have enough. We register 3 Nigerian doctors in the UK every day. In fact, we have more Nigerian psychiatrists in the UK than in Nigeria.
Terrible.
So there's no, help yourself before you self-help them, before you start looking out for people.
This question
yes, ma'am.
before you go. If you find yourself in a depressive state, is there a way you can overcome it without seeing a psychiatrist? Can you just, over time, try and overcome that depression?
Yes, so depression can be mild, moderate, and severe. And at the mild stage, the most workable thing that is most effective is you talking to somebody or talking to yourself or finding out what it is. So if you are stressed, what is even stressing you that is making you feel that way? The STRESS. Is it yourself? Is it trauma? Is it relationship-based? Is it economic-related? Are you sick? Or is it school or work-related? And then, once you know what your stress factor is, you can begin to practice self-care. Be self-aware so you can know what your stressors are, your triggers, and manage it. Exercise, boost up your feel-good hormones, and it can help manage mild cases of fear, anxiety, and depression. Limit your exposure to news on social media. Mute your notification. All install apps that are not good for your mental health. If Twitter, exactly. Do you understand? You know what it is on that forward. You know, limit exposure. Then, of course, find and engage in pleasurable activities. Hobby things that are good for you. Then connect with people. Connect with people, whether virtually or one-on-one. The right set of people is very important. And people that are good for your mental health are people that should be in your inner circle. If they are not, fumigate them to the middle and outside circle. Fumigate them is important. Then A is ask for help. Sorosoke is not for only the millennials and Generation Z. We as human beings ask for help. It's a sign of strength and never a sign of weakness. Then rest and sleep is our R. There's no award for the busiest human being on earth. No trophy for that. Rest. Stop giving excuses. Last but not the least, eat. Eat right. COVID came. We all saw that you have to boost your immunity. So eat right. So once you know your stress factor, start practicing self-care.
Oh, I think I'll let you go. Fantastic.
Beautiful. You need to extract that segment again.
You need to extract that segment. Yes, I'm putting it.
Thank you so much. Self-aware.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate you. I wish you the best in your book. Let's go on a break. YK has done her ball to my court. When we come back, we'll focus on YK. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, we're talking about this issue of side chick. And Nima Akasha Zibri sent a message, said that, I'm feeling you, YK. Let me know my competition. I want to start on that. I don't know if knowing my competition would make me feel better or feel worse, because I'd like to get some wisdom from you. And I know a lot of women also like to get some wisdom, because the truth is that we are getting to that point where this is becoming something a woman has to either preempt or accept when it happens. So if you're saying that, listen, I know my competition, let me know, that's the girl I'll be, okay, this is what you do for her, let me know. Or, I mean, how does that even make sense to you? Let me come to you, YK. How does that even make you feel good? How, is it that you have to have confidence in yourself, or what exactly? Give me some knowledge on
I will tell
understanding.
You what I was saying to Miriam during the break. I prefer to know. The reason I prefer to know is because you see, side chicks have an advantage against
the one inside.
Because they know all about you, and you know nothing about them. They know where you eat, where you sleep, your house. Some know your house. Some know
your weakness.
Everything. They know the car you drive. You know, you don't even know they exist. and they know everything about you. A thief that wants to come and steal from you watches you and knows everything about you. You don't know about the thief. So when the thief
Comes.
Attacks, you are caught by surprise, and you are in flagrante delicto. You are caught in flagrante delicto. Let me speak like a lawyer. If you know, you will be able to protect yourself. Now, my husband has a side chick, and I don't know about it. No, that's when me and you will fight. Let me know. Don't surprise me. So that, oh yeah, did you see me? So what does she do for you? So what does she do for you that I want to do for you? Yeah, let me start doing it for you. I want to know. I want to know step by step.
That's the excitement, because the reason why a man has a side chick is the chase.
That excitement that he's looking for, he will not find it in me.
So I understand, I'm understanding YK's perspective a bit better. Like, it really is beginning to make a lot of sense for me to be in a position of knowledge. You know, they say draw your enemies closer. And the enemy you don't know, draw your enemies closer. So the enemy you don't know can easily win the battle. Maybe you're aware, you're able to position yourself better to be in the winning side of whatever battle that is going on. My first opinion is don't do it. And if you're doing it, before I would have said, I don't want to know. Now I'm of the opinion that I think it's better you are you understand what your battles are. Like, you understand what is going on in his head. And more importantly, I think it will help a woman to be sure where you stand. We don't like having those conversations, but I feel like women should ask their husbands if they suspect anything different. Are you cheating? Have the conversation, because you might be guessing and be thinking, and he's not, and it's something else he's dealing with. But you are sitting there assuming he's already cheating because of the way he's behaving. If you have to be ready to deal with it. If he's cheating, then you know.
Okay,
why you know? It's between the two of you that you are, okay, do you accept it? Oh yeah, you know, for me, I don't want to be caught by surprise.
That's the point. Okay, I think I've gotten that message. Let me take this call. Sheson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Actually, let's call it spade.
Yeah.
80% of guys there, 80% of men, they have side chick. Even Okada rider have side chick. It's not about you having money or not. You know, there's a saying in our language, when you eat one egusi every time. When you are doing with your friend like that, take up one or two now, try to take up one. You know, it's I'm not supporting guys having that. Let's face the reality. We guys, I'm a man too. I'm married and I have a side chick. It's normal. Are you getting it? It's not about the money. You understand? You know, at times, the kind of play that the society will give you, your wife will not be able to give you.
Sheson, let me stay with you for a minute. Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean? We're adults, right? So your wife cannot give you certain things the side chick gives you. Could you give us an example? Because some of us would like to learn from you. What are those things the side chick gives that your wife can't give you? Sheson, please call him back. Is it on there? Hello? Please, I didn't hear you. Please start again. Yes.
Let me set an example. There was a time Yemi Kuti was talking on this show, saying, I'm 50 years old now. No, he was about to be 50. He said, there is a way a man will carry your leg, will do this thing, will do that, that he cannot do that again. Are you getting a very big example? If you want it from anywhere, they will give it to you. But you cannot handle your wife like that. Are you getting it?
Yes.
The way you handle your wife with a lot of care, so that she will not force it. Precisely, you know, if the force it is our own business. He can farm, do anything, give you the way how you want it. You want it on top of it, on top of anything. It's like you will do that. But your wife will tell you, no. I'm not in for this. That is the reality.
Okay. Thank you, Sheson, for being very real. Honest. I really appreciate that. So that's feedback, ladies.
Yes. He's been real.
That's feedback. So, Tope, Mariam, why can't you go on the silly? Why can't you?
So, can I just read some? Let me take some tubes. Biliki says, personally, I don't think men wait till old age before they start to practice side chickism. Some start philandering when they are having midlife crisis, thinking is the solution. Limpid Keita says, why people blaming men alone? And who is blaming the young girls following the married men and they know the man is married? Good Beat says, men just have too much to give.
So much love to give.
Not true, you kokoro. Olaji, is for me, the Nigerian situation has led to the explosion of the number of side chicks. I blame government.
Blame Buhari. Papa was going to say something.
Yes.
Yes.
There are so many.
For me, about 5 years, 6 years ago, I did a conference called the Sexually Confident Woman. And the aim of the conference was to help women become more comfortable with their sexuality. Many women in our culture are not taught to enjoy their sexuality. So it's a case of something they are shy about. And these babes outside, these babes, for them, is a commercial exercise. So it is not, it's not about enjoyment for them. For them, they would give all the soundtracks that the man likes, that the women don't do, just because they want to achieve the goal. The wives don't do. So I feel that men and women, married husbands and wives, need to have a conversation about intimate expectations. And if it changes, have that conversation that this thing that you are doing, I don't really like it. This is what I like. Now, it is a tough conversation because some women will start saying somebody else is doing it for you outside, or the man will say, who taught you about it somewhere else? The conference was supposed to make people say, when you go back home, tell him, I attended a conference, and in this conference, we should have this conversation. And many people have testimonies from it.
I'll come to you, Mariam. So let us put that in proper perspective. So you're a woman. You know you can learn these things and become the side chick. You have the personality and physique for it. You can do that. There are other women like, you know what? I have had 6 children. I'm a bit more. I cannot go up and down. I cannot. You know what? I cannot climb ceiling. So I will allow you mentally. I will accept that. Okay, if this side chick is for this purpose, so don't let her start taking our finances. Don't start getting apartments for her. Don't start doing. If she's the objective is to come and be on the ceiling. Let her be on the ceiling and go.
I can create a special ceiling for you guys.
I can even do, let me know that this is why she's here. After her doing, let her go. I have a family, but should we as women begin to accept, okay, there will be a time, men, so how do we compartmentalize these things? If you are the one that can go up and do silly, you can do that if you want to.
I think, for me is that it is even simple if it's about the intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easiest one to solve. Is it that you want me to get on a ladder and climb the ceiling and be at 90 degrees? And, you know, for me, that's the easiest. But I find that sometimes it's much more than that. Sometimes it's the companionship. Sometimes they find someone much more enjoyable than you. They like to have a conversation. That, for me, that is even toughest.
Yes,
that I have become a friend with someone else. I love the way the person live their lives. I like their lifestyle. I like how, I like how they chase things, you know.
Mayor.
I just want that sort of person, that energy in my life.
I love what you just said, because that is where I have a problem.
Good.
That is why, let me know about the babe.
Okay.
Let me be the friend, not I be your friend. That you go and be complaining about me too. My wife did this. No, complain to me that your side chick did this.
I know why.
Wisdom. YK, this one is wisdom. This one is wisdom.
Hassan, are you there? Oh, YK, you're on point today. Hassan, are you there? Are you there?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I'm here. Live and direct.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Look, there's one thing people don't understand. You see, this issue of trying to tell a wife to do certain things for you so that you enjoy the intimacy, that's not the issue. We men are carried away by a woman playing herself out without us prompting it. I knew of a lady in northern Nigeria that divorces men, not men divorcing her. And before any court, you will see the husband, well-to-do husband, begging the alkali to interfere, not to let her go, because of the way she play herself out into other rooms. And you see this issue of sex.
Side chick is always attractive. Do you know why she's attractive? It's because she's always new. She always appears new to you because she's coming from another place. Unlike your wife, that you stay in the same environment, you see her every day. You understand? Anything you see every day, when in your eyes. This girlfriend of a thing, that is why this girlfriendship is much more a better side of life in life. You understand? Because she's coming from her house, you are coming from her house. You pretend to be neat, you pretend to be smart, you pretend to be sweet talking. You understand? So all this kind of a thing. And you, you say, you will ask your husband, are you cheating? Let me tell you, the answer is obvious. He will tell you no. The same thing they ask you, are you cheating? You will tell him no. You understand? But I'm just telling you about that cheat.
Right.
Well, I like what Waike said, emotional attachment.
I was trying to finish something. You know, when Waike was saying that it's best to know so that you would be now you be the side chick. And I get that because imagine if I tell Tope every time, no, Mariah doesn't sleep on the left, she sleeps on the right. And I prefer it when I sleep on the left. So I'll do all the opposite of everything. So I'm getting expo. The side chick is getting expo on me, on what I'm doing wrong and doing it better. Not necessarily because she's like that, but because she understands the buttons that she needs to press. But I still maintain I don't want to know. Except if it's a conversation about my obituary is about to start the next, you know, but I don't want to know.
So going back to the wisdom we feel we are getting, let's be sure that if it's wisdom we're getting, that if you're a woman now, and maybe your issue is, your husband's issue is maybe it's the other room matter, the intimate matter, and he tells you about, this girl, she's from Kiniko, she does this, she does that, and you know that is what she's there for. As a woman, you can somewhat adjust your mental state to accept that. But when there's a problem, it's where he's becoming so close to her and he's becoming so friendly and intimately, and not just intimate, but they're becoming companions.
Yes.
That is the deeper relationship that you knowing can stop and nip in the bud before it becomes something. Because that's the one that can remove you from as a wife. That's the one that can actually take your place.
That's the arm robber.
That's the arm robber.
Yeah. That's the one that will take over.
One that is just there to come out and go on the ceiling and go. So the ceiling one is there, but the one that is a friend, that's the one that we have an issue with.
That's
now,
the danger.
If your husband is now getting close to that one that is an arm robber, how do you help your husband, or how do you handle that? I wish this question came when the doctor was here.
Yeah.
How do you help yourself when your husband is getting friendly and connecting with another person?
In practical terms, I think that it's important that each partner is sensitive to distance in each other. Because sometimes some people are married to people that they don't speak each other's love language. Like they don't. They love each other, but their communication doesn't it's not interwoven. So in such cases, you need to be sensitive to make the sacrifice to pay attention to your spouse. Because, and it swings both ways. Sometimes your partner might be someone that wants physical touch and you don't want it. So when you have such a partner, be willing to take it and be willing to give it, because you know that if you're not meeting the person's emotional needs, somebody else will meet it. Even if the person is the holiest person in the world, somebody would naturally fall into that gap.
Yeah.
So I'm a conversationalist, call it like gist, not like with everybody, but like if you're super smart, I would gist with you till forever. Until my husband noticed I'm gisting with someone, and it's opposite sex, and he had to tell me, would you be happy if I'm the one gisting with an opposite sex, the way you're gisting with this person?
Yeah, we know the person.
And I had to face that reality and say, okay, let me find a way to gist with your guy at home. Yeah. And we do the gist now. So for me, it is that be sensitive to your partner when that distance is coming in, and be willing to make the sacrifice and come in. That's not talking about the people that are just the ones that will just do.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we're also talking about people who have decided that I don't mind what is happening. I want to make this work. Because we have some people who are like, because you have decided to start looking at somewhere else or someone else, I'm done. But we're talking about women that have said, you know what, I think I can make this work. I will put in the effort to see what I can do to change his mind. And for those that is about the person's energy that they are more, that they are more after, the way the person talks, the way the person does their things, you will do the same thing the person does and do it better. Yeah. Because you have decided I want to make this work, and then you let the person see you. But there's another thing that I learned recently, where is that a woman should not focus too much on the man himself, focus instead on interest. Let the man see you chasing things and enjoying yourself, and then he's seeing you from the outside. So you're not fixated on the man. How are you feeling? What are you eating? You know, constantly. Sometimes it can even be a bit too much for them.
Let me take this
call.
He
sees that you're independently flourishing, and then...
Let me take this call from Dauzia from Kaduna. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I just want to quickly refer to this that spoke earlier about you saying something every day, like say something every day. Hello?
Yeah?
Yes. What about the woman? What about the woman? What about her? She's always seeing you every day too. But the more she sees you as a woman, the more she sees you, the more she even loves you. So why the difference? Why? Because you're seeing her every day, I don't understand.
Right.
Marriage is for better, for worse. You see how you love her. The more you believe that, the more a woman even have a child for you, the more you love. The more the child, the more you love. Just look at her. She left everything. She left her family, her friends. She treats her friends just because of this. They don't like this. She left God eat.
Thank you very much, Dauzia, for that.
She's from the opinion that we need to teach our men to be contented and appreciate their wives. That because same way a man is saying, I've seen you, see you every time, same way a woman too sees you and sees you finish. But you must choose to appreciate the sacrifices that the woman be responsible. We need to teach our men to be responsible.
I wanted to flip it because there are women who are just moving on to find their own side hustle, like I said earlier. How do we help men this time around who love their wife so much, but they don't understand why she's cheating on them? Because this can go both ways. And I'd like us to talk about that because we'll be wrapping up the show very soon. How does a man, he doesn't want to involve the family because, of course, we already know what the family will say. Get rid of her. But he doesn't want to get rid of her. He really loves that person. Why would a woman cheat? Why do you think a married woman would choose to cheat?
Many different reasons. Finances being one.
Yeah.
Maybe the husband doesn't have a lot of money and the lover or lovers have the money that she's looking for.
Yeah.
Another one could be, maybe...
Emotional connection.
Or maybe the man...
What are those who are looking for younger boys?
So, Dr. Memuna will tell that psychologically, they say most women cheat more for emotional reasons. Most men cheat for intimacy reasons. Physical reasons.
So women cheat for financial reasons.
Finance is also an important one, but most women is more of like they have this emotional, because they say women don't get intimate unless there's an emotional connection. Of course, money supersedes everything. But if we're thinking in terms of how to help a man, it's the same thing. It's as if you can flip it. Understand what she's looking for. What is that? What's the need that person outside is meeting? And understand, you ask yourself if you can meet that need for the person. If you can't, have that conversation. If you can't, the same thing the woman was saying. A woman remove yourself from the relationship. A man too can remove herself from the relationship. If you feel that you cannot become that person. It's like when you say, when our guest was saying that he has a side chick. The side chick does ceiling and everything, 360 degrees rotation. And he cannot ask his wife to do that. The wife can decide, maybe I want to do it. I actually want to do it. But if the wife says I cannot do it, then you can be willing to move on.
For women, I think, we chase, emotion, we chase security. So I can see why a woman would cheat on a man for financial reasons. Because for many women, that security can also bring love. But when you discuss it from this angle now, then it makes you realize that cheating is just a selfish act.
Yes.
It's not really about asking how should the person now behave so that the person cheating will act
100%.
better. The fact is that you, the cheat and cheater, or however they call it, you have to decide to stop being selfish. You have to decide to respect the relationship that you have found yourself in and have and begin to communicate. When you don't communicate, many women have been accused of the breakdown of their marriage or the reason why a man has cheated without you telling them exactly what it is that she's doing wrong or what it is that she's unable to provide for you. And sometimes just the fact that you come from a society or a community that accepts it for me, I feel that's the Nigerian story.
Thank you, Mariam.
That because they accept it, you think that it's your right to do it. Not necessarily that it's something you would chase on your own. If you lived in another country, you may not do it. But because you live in Nigeria and all your boys are doing it, you find yourself doing it.
And I'm happy you took us there, because that's where I want to also wrap up. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about cheating, side chicks. It's about being responsible and choosing to be less selfish. So you know what? It's not about me. So yes, you have needs. You want something on the ceiling. But because you choose to be responsible, so you know what? Okay, yes, she can't do that anymore. I would adjust to what she can do. Because I am responsible enough to accept it. I am disciplined enough to accept where we are right now. We're no more in our 20s, we're in our 30s. We are now in this phase, and I'm willing to compromise. So this is what you can do. This is what I can do. Let's do it together. So it's also about being responsible. Yeah. Because nothing is what you can't really expect everything to be exactly how you want it to be all the time.
Yeah.
So I would like also, as we wind down, say that we're not here to support side chicks. We're having a conversation to be real. That listen, this thing is happening. But even though it's real and in our faces, we must remember that at the end of the day, we are all adults, decision-making adults. So I say, you know what? I choose to stay with my family. I choose to stay with my wife. I choose to stay with my children. It's your decision. You're an adult.
I think that, you know, apart from the fact that you're being responsible, is the fact that marriage itself is about compromise. The two of you are becoming one. It means that the two of you are not the same in how you think, in how you talk. You appreciate your differences before you got married, and then you now decided that I want to spend the rest of my life. I appreciate this person's difference. When you get married, you will compromise on some areas, and the compromise is a lifelong journey of compromise. Yeah. So the fact that your wife is like, it's like sometimes when my husband comes home and I'm like, bros, I drove to Mowe for site inspection. I picked up the children from school. I am going to sleep. Like, I need to sleep. Yeah. So it's a compromise that you would have to make, because you understand that there is a communal goal for this family to remain one. And if I do this side chickism or I do side bobo, whatever, I am going to be compromising the integrity of our family unit.
Simple. Yeah. Simple.
And that is very important. Yeah. Let me take this message.
Can I take some? Yeah, take your own.
Judah Flourish said, side chicks would eventually choke a man's life. Not all men have time for such reckless life. I have been married to my wife without any other woman in my life for 26 years.
Praise God.
Only foolish men do extramarital affairs. And I need to say that.
Who is that person?
His name is Judah Flourish, and there are many men like this that we must highlight. It's not all men that cheat.
Yeah, Bilikis Mafe says, I wouldn't like to pretend marriage removes attraction from either man or wife. No, it doesn't. But what you decide to do is up to you. Andrew in Streatham, women have side bubble and they know how to hide it. Oladide, I'm a pot-bellied man and girls still wink at me when I'm out and about with my wife. Bilikis says,
even in my mom's tweet message.
Let me get this call. Good morning, are you there? From Ikeja. Hello, are you there?
I'm around. How are you?
Good, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for connecting me today.
Yes, sir.
This is my first time that
welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thank you. I so much love the program.
Thank you, sir.
And please keep it up. The topic of today is encouraging, as it forms the core value of the society. As we look around the society is being destroyed today. The core value of the society, or the home, or what constitutes the core value of the society is one way or the other being eroded. So we say the devil is the one responsible or whatever. So you look at marriage, side chicks, and all that. So I want to start this way. Your discussion center more on men having a side chick, as if women don't have don't engage themselves in extramoral affairs as well. We are both involved in this, so it's both ways. We should look at it both ways.
He's saying that we shouldn't focus on men alone, that women too do it.
We did actually.
Yes, go
You're going to read.
Oh, my mom sent a message. Says Belinda and Bill Gates' marriage.
After
There was a side chick all through the, all through the marriage. And I think, there was a time, I think she was referring to a time when we were saying maybe poor people cheat more or successful
Thank you,
men
Mommy, for
cheat
bringing
more.
Melinda and Bill Gates, because that was what I was trying to say earlier, which Mikey Bobby misinterpreted what I was trying to say, was that when you've both achieved, have a beautiful house in Banana Island, our kids have grown, they are in Canada University somewhere, and they are doing well, they are A-star students, in fact, they are getting a job, you are 50, you are 55, your wife is 50, and you both endured this marriage, right, for this many years. Now, you are looking good, baby, wife is looking good, husband is looking good, and he wants to have his own side chicks because he feels like he wants somebody I want somebody on the umbrella, on the roof. Wife says, I'm 50, my children are grown, I also want somebody that can take me to breakfast in Japan, dinner in Taiwan. And they both say, you know what, it's our side hustle season.
But is this still a marriage, though?
So it's a marriage of, listen, we are together because our children need us.
Convenience.
Marriage of, we are together because our kids need us when they need guidance. Maybe somebody's having their work, they need help. But as per happiness, both of us have gone out to go and find our happiness. The reason why I'm bringing this angle is that we are coming to the reality that there are people who have side chicks, and there are men who don't have. They've married 30 years. We have those ones. We have locked our own on us. That's our own side. But we are talking about people on this side of town, where this is their reality. Should they accept that, please, hold on to your wife to this season, when you're in your 50s, when you're 10, then you can now start something like look.
Then maybe write it down on the day that we're getting married and say, by the time I turn 50, and after I give you so amount of money, this is what I want. Are you down with it?
Yes.
Don't just spring it up on me in the middle of our lives,
Because there are people like us that were under the umbrella of faithful marriage. Yeah. Christian God, Daddy Gio doesn't cheat, so my husband cannot, we're on the umbrella. Yeah. Only because I know Daddy Gio is not cheating. Me, I cannot cheat. There are people like that, and we are okay in that umbrella. But those of you in the world, we are very worried for you.
How do you know?
We are worried for those of you in the world.
How do you know?
I'm worried for them.
No, I'm asking you, how do you know?
I'm worried for them because
how do you know that Daddy Gio doesn't cheat?
Oh, it's a question. Moving on. I ask a question. Can I not ask a question? How do you know? You don't answer now. Not every question I answer.
That everybody must find a coping mechanism.
Yes.
So if you're in a relationship with a cheat, whether male or female, you must find a way to cope with the fact that you are in that space. Because the truth is, if you are in a solid marriage, you are complementing each other. He is filling in for you, you are filling in for him. If that man is not filling that gap, you would have a lacuna. And you must find a way to cover up for that lacuna by creating a coping mechanism so that you don't end up being depressed, bitter in your marriage, both male and female.
I think that's what our older parents always do when they say to you that, but you have children, face your children, meaning now use them as a coping mechanism to stay in a marriage where the husband is
unhappy.
I don't think you should stay in a marriage if you're not happy. I think you should move.
100% agree with you.
Happiness is relative, YK. Happiness is relative, because what makes you happy is different from what makes somebody else happy.
Yeah, so somebody else.
My joy is that I'm seeing my children every day. That's my happiness, and I'm okay.
So you don't mind if you are not happy. If your husband is cheating and it upsets you, but your
children make you happy.
That means you're happy.
Stay. That means you're happy.
But if you're thinking of the person cheating and every day you are fantasizing about the fact that, this is trip to Abuja, he has carried another babe. This time he has gone to London and it's making you feel bad. Despite your joy of your children, you are still thinking about what he's doing. Then you are bitter. And then you should take yourself out of that relationship.
Miriam is also funny. Miriam is like, my husband is cheating. Oh, you should just write his obituary. That's what I've been saying since now.
Amen. You see, God has blessed us by God's special grace and grace. We have good men. That's why
sometimes I just wonder.
We have amazing men. That's true. That's absolute truth. All of us on this table.
Okay.
Yeah,
but by God's special grace and mercy, nothing by what we do. Not because we are great. Not because we know how to do it. But only by God's grace.
But also, I also believe that we're all humans. Yes. We are flesh, and we make mistakes, and there's room for forgiveness.
Yes, as well. So I can wrap up on both of them. No, let's wrap up on the note of reminding both men and women to be committed and responsible to their marriage vows. And that every human being has the capacity, every human being has the capacity to control themselves and their impulses. The fact of respecting the marital vows and respecting their partners. So male and female, do not cheat. You have a responsibility to your household, you have a responsibility to your family, you have a responsibility to your partner who has decided to spend her or his entire life with you. Respect and
absolutely
faithful.
YK, your final words on this. You have to wrap up soon.
Do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy. Makes sense, YK. Yeah. Comments. We don't have final comments on this. Mariam, your final comments on this.
Plenty tubes, though.
YK, please me. I'm going to give like 5
plenty
minutes.
Tubes, though.
Go ahead.
Bilikis again says, I believe the society places pressure on the marriage institution such that it appears to be more about what people would think instead of what people find fulfilling in their marriage. Good Bit says, I'm a confirmed cockerel.
Cockerel. Like you decide.
As this chat says, there is no respect once there is a side piece.
No, there isn't. There's no respect.
Priscilla Jai, before being a daughter-in-law, a wife and a mother. Oh, she's talking about something else that I missed.
Okay.
Men cheat in Nigeria because there is no consequences. In some countries, you will get dumped by your wife as cheating is not tolerated on top of that you will pay alimony and support the kids. Yeah.
That one is abroad.
That's another powerful deterrent. Knowing that if anything goes wrong now, half is gone.
That's abroad now.
Yes, but if we had that, I feel that it has kept a lot of marriages in check. Knowing that it does not only cost you emotionally, it costs you financially
as well.
And you know, we know how very personally we take our
society abroad protects the woman.
Yes, does absolutely.
You know, the
I remember there was
protects the man.
There was I just remember the story of this woman. Her husband was cheating on her, and the story was so pathetic, so pathetic that she raised the man, she paid for his. Everything. She practically made this man. And I remember that when family members called her, when she was just lamenting and crying, and family members called her, they were telling her, there's nothing new under this one in Yoruba. You know, they say, there's nothing new under the kilo, okay. And the woman till today, she's a shadow of herself because she was forced to go back to a man who had already built a house. For another person. A man you sacrifice your entire, everything your father gave you. You handed over to this man. Your inheritance, your everything to make this man. He builds a house for the side chick. Have children. She is now a shadow of herself. And
so that's another question.
The way YK says, whatever makes you happy.
Very important.
It's a very deep statement.
Yeah.
That kind of person, how does she move?
And now brings to me the question, which is, in marriages, people fall out of love. What if it happens to you that your husband says, I don't love you anymore, or the wife says, I don't love you anymore?
Move on.
You see, that's
you are more than a wife. You're a human being.
Exactly. Do what is me. Self-love. I love myself.
Simple.
I love myself. See it. So if you are not going to love me as I am,
vista, baby. Yeah. You gotta run. Thank you very much. We have to run. We got the end of the show. That's all we can take on the show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Enjoy your day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.